What's up, guys? So I'm putting in a lot of effort when it comes to putting out content, just because for me it's been very helpful to see videos on YouTube, videos on Instagram of topics related to things that I am curious about or things that I need a little bit more understanding on. So I'm gonna put a lot of effort into putting more content out and just helping you guys understand the world of real estate from the investor standpoint, and now, since I told you guys that I am studying to become an agent, the agent standpoint when I do get officially licensed. I just wanted to go over one topic in particular, one question that a lot of people ask me all the time, which is what the difference is between selling with a real estate agent versus selling with a real estate or selling to a real estate investor. So let me go ahead and break that down. First thing is, we're going to start on the real estate agent side. Although I'm not licensed yet, I do have experience working with agents, so I kind of know the process, even though I've been on the investing side for the past 2 years or so. So I'll go ahead and break that down. So working with a real estate agent will give you the highest possibility of selling for the highest price. However, there are a lot of different costs and fees that are associated with that process, so I'm gonna go over those right now. So the first thing you have to take into consideration is that you will have to pay the agent, obviously, a commission, and that's about 5 to 6%, 2 to 3% between the selling agent and 2 to 3% between the buying agent, right off the top of whatever sales price. So if you're gonna sell your house for $100,000, just know that 6% or $6,000 is immediately going to real estate agents or an agent. Next up, another thing to consider are repairs. Now, everybody wants to sell for the highest price, but a lot of homeowners don't understand that there are usually repairs that need to be done to your house. No matter how beautiful that you think it is, being in the investment space, we've come across a lot of people that believe their house is beautiful, and it's because there's such an emotional attachment to your property, because you've been there, you've lived there for several years or whatever the case may be. You have multiple memories. Even if the house is in tip-top shape, it usually still needs some type of repairs done to it, some type of renovations, if you're looking, again, to sell for the highest price. Sometimes we'll sit down with homeowners and we'll let them know, like, hey, you want this much for your property, which is retail price, and that's great. However, the properties that are selling for retail price are completely renovated, 2020, they're completely up to date, and like your house necessarily isn't. We wouldn't say it like that, but basically we would have to break it down. So just understand that if you do want to sell it for the highest price, you may have to do some repairs, and if you're prepared to do that, then that's great. Because you have to think about it this way: if a new homeowner is looking to purchase their first house or their second house, whatever it is, they're gonna want either a new home or at least an updated home, because the typical person, the average person, a house is usually their biggest purchase in their lifetime. So they want to, anybody who's spending hundreds and thousands of dollars is looking for something of high quality. So if you want to appeal to that person who's looking to pay the most, then you have to do some work to the house to make it, represent that same value. So another cost to consider is cleaning costs. Now, a lot of people, or I would say some people, opt in to have their houses professionally cleaned, just because it's the best way or the most convenient way to go about things. Obviously, if you're living in the house, you'll probably just clean it yourself. It's either a time or a cost factor, whether you want to pay somebody to do it or you want to just do it yourself. So that's something to consider as well. Also, it's not going to be a one-time cleaning thing. You're going to have to maintain the cleanliness of the house throughout the duration of the selling process for multiple people to come in and out and, take a look at your house and see if they want to purchase it. So some things to consider is that, professional carpet cleaning, power washing, any junk removal just to eliminate all the unnecessary things, yard cleanup in the front and the backyard, just to make it look as presentable as possible. Again, it costs money, or it's going to cost your time. Now, some other costs that you have to, that you have to think about when you're selling your house with a real estate agent is, holding costs. So you're while you're looking to sell your house, which may be on the market for 3, 6, 9, even 12 months, you're gonna have to continue to pay your bills, such as your utility bills, your taxes, your insurance, all those things. They don't go away, when you're looking to sell your house. So these are some holding costs that you need to be prepared to pay during the selling process, because it can take an extended period of time. But you definitely have to be prepared to pay holding costs for several months. So, with that adding up month after month, it can cost a pretty penny to keep up with these things, especially if you live in a higher priced house. So just take that into consideration. And I think the last major cost that you have to think about, I'm probably forgetting some, but the last one that I am thinking about are closing costs. Now usually you'll have to pay about 2 to 3% based on, I think, your state on your closing costs. So just understand, if your house is at $100,000, that's another $2,000 or $3,000. Just understand that there's these costs that you need to consider when selling your house with a real estate agent, because all of this stuff takes time, and again, it takes money. So let's talk a little bit about the different things when it comes to time. Now, as I mentioned to you before, the process isn't just like a quick process. Like, it isn't just, hey, I list my house with the agent and it sells the next day. It usually takes typically longer than that. 3, 6, 9, 12 months, as I mentioned before. So again, in reference to time, you can't just give your property to an agent and then just disappear. There's still going to be some time and effort from you that's needed to sell the property. So as I mentioned before, one thing you have to consider is cleaning, keeping the house clean at all times, for any time that a prospective buyer is coming in and out of the property. Whether you outsource it and pay somebody else to do it, or you do it yourself, it's a time thing. Repairs, again, you're gonna have to spend the time to look for these companies to either do the work for you, or you're gonna have to spend time to repair these things yourself, which everybody thinks they're a handyman or they have somebody in the family that's a handyman. I would personally recommend just getting it done by a professional. Repairs in particular is what I'm talking about, because being on, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I post stories all the time, and we have seen plenty of houses that are they have these rinky-dink repairs done to it, and any professional, even me sometimes, and I'm definitely not a professional contractor or anything like that, I can see some of this work isn't done properly, and it usually just makes things 10 times worse. So it's best to just get the repairs done by a professional, so you can get it done one time and be done with it, at least for the life of that, for the life of whatever you're repairing. If you're going to take the time to market your house on other for sale sites, it's also a time thing. Granted, your real estate agent might do it, but I've seen sellers who do it themselves and just basically field all calls to the real estate agent. So just another thing to consider. Also, now if you live in the property, you're gonna have to consider the fact that you will have to vacate. You don't have to, but it's probably best that you vacate the property anytime there is a prospective buyer that comes to look at it. Sometimes there'll be open houses held for your house. Other times it'll just be a one-off person who comes to visit the house. So if you live there, understand that can be very annoying, but if you are trying to sell your house, it is all a part of the process. So yeah. And then of course, with all this stuff done, the repairs and everything like that, there are different waiting periods, like an inspection period, for an inspector to come out and make sure the house is habitable and make sure everything is good with the house. Also an appraisal, the appraisal period, so that could take weeks for somebody to come out from the bank and determine the value of your house. And then of course the sad reality is that you can go through all of this and the deal still might fall through, particularly with traditional deals with a real estate agent or a person who's looking to get traditional funding from a bank, conventional funding. Deals can fall through where they just might not qualify for the financing. So that's just a sad reality of the game. When you're dealing with an investor, it's completely different, which I'll go into in a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to, let you know about that. It does happen. So you just got to be prepared, as long as you're willing to go through, kind of a little bit of an extensive process, when selling your house with a real estate agent, then, if you have time, then you should be good. Otherwise, you might want to consider some other options, like selling to an investor like me. So I say all that to say this. Working with an agent can get you the highest price for your house, no doubt. You put it on the retail market, you're probably going to get a retail buyer. So there is that possibility. However, if you're willing to go through the challenges and the time that it takes to get that highest price, then I think that'll be a good fit for you. However, if you don't have the time, or you're not looking for the highest price, or you just need to get out of your house for whatever reason, then selling to an investor might be the ideal option for you. So I'm gonna go a little bit of the process of that. Now, it's no secret that working with an investor, you're probably not gonna get the highest price that you want. However, some investors do have the ability to give you the highest price or even give you above the price that you're asking if they get the right terms. But I'm not going to go into all that. Let's just say you're looking to sell to an investor who's looking to pay cash for your property, and that's it. I'll go into that process. So most direct buyers, which is my partner and I, we will pay for a house regardless of the condition of the property. So even if it has junk all in the house, or even all outside, or the house is falling down, or even, like our first house, which was horrible. The roof was caved in, the floor was caved in. It was terrible. We will purchase houses like that all day long. Even if you have a house with a high interest rate or a mortgage that you just can't handle anymore for whatever reason, we are able to work with you. Being on the investor side, you're definitely a lot more flexible than selling with an agent, because an investor can create terms that is favorable for both you, the seller, and obviously the investor as the buyer. So it's a lot more flexibility when you're selling to a real estate investor. And another great thing about working with investors such as my partner and I, there are no real estate commissions. So that 6% that you would have to pay right out the door, you don't have to worry about that with us. Again, with the closing costs, we'll handle the closing costs, so you don't have to pay that. So right there, you're saving 8 to 9% off of real estate commissions and closing costs. And you don't have to do any repairs. And we can close as fast as 3 to 4 weeks. So if you need to move very quickly, we can handle that. We can help you out. Or we can, move on your schedule. If you need some time to find another place, we can also help you figure that out and move on your schedule. And just make it so that it makes sense for both the seller, you, and the investor, us. But as I said before, there's a lot of flexibility with that. So essentially, you really don't have to do much when you're selling to an investor. For the most part, all you do is pack the items that you want to keep, and we'll handle the rest. As I said before, it really doesn't matter the condition of the house. We can pretty much handle all different types of houses, no matter how bad they are or how beautiful they are. So just to recap, guys, you're gonna have to consider a couple different things when working with a real estate agent. As I mentioned, you're gonna have to consider the commissions cost, obviously, the closing costs, the holding costs, any repairs that you need to do, and pretty much any maintenance that you need to keep up with for the allotted number of months that you have under contract with the real estate agent. Also, you're going to have to consider the time that goes into it to keep up with all these different things, as I mentioned, such as repairs, cleaning, marketing, and so on and so forth. As I mentioned, selling to an investor like myself, we take care of the closing costs. There's no commissions. You don't have to worry about holding costs typically, because we get it done within a couple weeks. You don't have to worry about repairs, and you don't have to worry about maintenance, because we'll buy it as is. So if you're looking to sell your house, either way, I can definitely help you out. Whether it be, if you want to put it on the retail market and sell it with an agent, I could definitely refer you to some great agents until obviously I become licensed in a few more weeks. Or I can definitely help you and look at the property from an investor standpoint and see if it's something that would make sense for us to come in and purchase and just get it off your hands. And a lot of people ask me, like, how do you get the money? I'm going to make a whole nother video about this as well. How do you get the money to buy these houses, whether it be a $5,000 house, a $50,000 house, or a $150,000 house? As you've heard, or as you may have heard, hopefully you have heard it by now, the best way to invest is to use OPM, which is other people's money, but that's a whole nother subject. So just know that we are able to, purchase your house directly from you. Some of you guys know that we also wholesale, but that's another strategy. But being a direct buyer, we are looking to purchase homes directly from you. So if you are looking to sell, definitely send me a message or an email. I'll put my email down in the description below. Guys, please like this video. I'm definitely gonna work on putting out more content more consistently. This is something that I'm definitely focused on doing. I have been focused for the past 2 years on real estate only. So if you're looking for more content, definitely subscribe and just stay tuned for upcoming videos. Hopefully these videos can help you. Hopefully you can share it with somebody that it'll help along their real estate investing journey or their agent journey, or if they're just looking to sell their house and need some type of information. Please go ahead and share it, and just stay tuned to my channel, and I will catch you guys on the next video.